Good evening, everyone, or good afternoon, wherever you are. Maneco 64 here, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. So, how's everyone? Hi, SAC Media. Yeah, the title of the live stream, SDR as a global reserve currency would be worse than the petrodollar. And some of you might have seen there's an article on Zero Hedge. It says it begins. Former UN Undersecretary General calls for one world currency. Billy's here. Yeah, Billy's here. So let's see. We'll wait for a few more people to come on. You guys can start asking questions if you want. Be pretty informal. I'm trying to do these live streams a bit shorter. I think that 1 hour live streams were a bit too long. I think 30 minutes is better. Marcia Smith, she's from Brazil, I think, but she's in the UK. Boa tarde means good afternoon. Yeah, nice to see you here, Marcia. 18-year cycle. Yeah, you told me about that, SAC Media. I haven't looked into it yet. So I'm sorry about that. There's a lot of things I look at. Sometimes I can't remember everything. Pablo Pina. Hi, Pablo. Hi, Dax. Time will tell. Hi, Time will tell. Manuel Quinones from Arizona. Oh, thank you, Manuel. Italy, gold. Yeah, I got that story I want to talk about as well. I'm just going to wait for more people to come on so that give people a bit of time. How's my golf game? Actually, hi, Roseberry. I played today. There's where I live in the UK, in the county that I live, they have a trophy at one of the golf clubs for the club champions in the county from the previous year. And I actually was fortunate enough to win my club championship last year. But and I played this trophy today. I played all right, but I'm off 6. So some of the players there were off scratch. So I didn't win, but I shot 80. It was a bit cold and wet and foggy. So I was pretty happy with my game. So looking forward to the Masters this week. C. Montgomery Burns. Hi, Mary. How did you notice CI? What does CI mean, Montgomery? Only my POV. Do you have a stance on Zionism? Well, I'm against Zionism, totally. And I don't think Zionism is the same thing as Judaism. You look at Orthodox Jews, they're not for Zionism. It's a political movement. It's not a religious movement. Robert Davis Steele predicts gold-backed currency before 2020. Well, that's interesting. Isn't he an ex-CIA guy, isn't he? That would have to be at a very high price, of course. PAMP gold bars are quite popular in Europe. I think they are from Switzerland, the gold PAMP gold bars, so they are popular. How long until hyperinflation in the UK? Well, hyperinflation is not a cost push phenomena. It's a loss of confidence in the political system and the establishment and the monetary authorities. So it could happen overnight. I mean, I think we are very close to people losing confidence, especially with what's going on with the Brexit process. So it could happen in a matter of months. And yeah, that's right. Have a favorite in the Masters? Well, it's my favorite used to be Tom Watson, but he's too old now to play. but there are so many players that are playing well, so it's difficult to say. I'm not sure. Hi, David Morsilli. Nice to see you here. Hi, Alex from Canada. Universal Vibes. Investor Peter Leeds says he's selling all his properties and stock and moving into precious metals and cash. He too foresees a mega economic crash. Your thoughts? Well, I agree with him. I mean, I'm not selling my house because it's where I live, and I don't consider it an investment. But if he has a property portfolio and it's got and he's leveraged, i.e., if he has a lot of debt attached to that, then he's probably right to do it. So I read this story on Zero Hedge. Former UN Undersecretary General calls for one world currency. And basically, he says that the SDR could act as a world currency and that the IMF could run it. And I think it's rubbish because the SDR would be even worse than the fiat money that we have now because it's a derivative of the fiat dollar anyways. And it would be, we would, at least now we do have our own fiat currencies everywhere in the world. And, you know, the government of each country at least has some power over that. But with the SDR, it would be the IMF and the BIS, it would be bureaucrats and bankers would run everything. So I think the SDR is a no-no. If there is a currency crisis, which I think there will be, if the petrodollar goes away, we should not fall for the SDR. It's a scam. It's even worse than the dollar. That's what I wanted to talk about and tell people about in this live stream. Only my POV says my favorite golfer was Seve Ballesteros from Spain. Yeah, he passed away a few years ago. I was playing, trying to qualify many years ago for the Swiss Open up in the mountains, and I was playing on the Monday qualifying, and I walked through the practice green, and he was there putting, and I was surprised that he looked up to me and said hello in Spanish. And you know, I'm not like a well-known golfer, so that's what I remember about Seve, that he was very nice guy, and he spoke to anyone, even a nobody like me in the golf world. Daniel Glavin, do you think Bitcoin is going to soar? I think it will again. It's just, you just need to be patient and hold on. I think it will. Is it going to be next week, next month? I don't know. It's going to be in the next year or two. I think it will be a lot higher than 20,000 Bitcoin, but it still could move anywhere right now. So you just got to be patient. Lloyd is in Melbourne, Australia. Good morning, Lloyd. How likely, in your opinion, would there be an extension to Brexit? Well, you know, it's a big mess, Brexit. I do keep an eye on things, and it looks like they want another extension, but I saw that Macron, the president of France, said they'd have to put a lot of tough conditions. So I think a no deal, leaving without a no deal, is still, you know, something that could happen. Very uncertain. So Zelot Patriot. I was analyzing the front cover of the 1988 Economist magazine cover, and if you look closely, you'll see two $5 bills, one on the left and one on the right, and they have Abraham Lincoln on it. Ask yourself what Abraham Lincoln was most notable for, president during the Civil War. So you're saying that we could have a civil war? I mean, that's not out of the realms of possibility, because I think the United States of America is very divided now. You've got the, I would say it's the big metropolitan areas are left wing, and the rest is more right wing. You could be right. It's not like the North and South that we had back in the 1860s, but you know, the big metropolitan, you know, like financial establishment in the Northeast, and also the tech establishment in the West Coast. So I agree, that's possible. Daniel Glavin, are you getting media coverage of the yellow vests or jackets? No, we don't get that much. It's all on. It's all online. The only people that cover it online is RT. I think it was week 21 or week 20 this, and they're still out there protesting. David Morrissey, is there a circumstance in which you can see Bitcoin becoming the world reserve currency? I guess, the powers that be might use that. I don't. I think it would be a currency that is used, but I don't think it will be the world reserve currency. It would have to be at a lot higher price. But it's you can never dismiss these things. I would like to see a reserve currency chosen by the market, and historically those are gold and silver. So I think we could have maybe a gold or silver backed cryptocurrencies. That could be a possibility. Bitcoin will be important, but I'm not sure if it will become the reserve currency. Barron's cover says bull market forever, irrational FOMO. Well, there's like a rule about some publications when they come out with headlines about markets and stuff and inflation and the economy, that you actually do the opposite. Sometimes it works, not all the time. Pablo, the SDR is just a basket of the major fiat currencies. That's all it is. It's not backed by anything. It's just backed by air. And the SDR is just a central bank's. Yeah, it's just another currency for the central bankers. So that's the first article I want to talk about. The other one is one of you guys have mentioned about Italy and the gold, and there, I think Salvini, one of the major politicians in Italy, a month or so ago, he said that the people should have the gold and not the Bank of Italy. And so there's an interesting article here on Zero Hedge. It belongs to the people, not the bankers. Italy moves to seize gold from central bank. So this hasn't gone through yet, but reading the article, it says that the gold with the Bank of Italy, that the Bank of Italy is owned. Actually, they actually said that the Bank of Italy is owned by the private banks. The commercial banks are shareholders in the Bank of Italy. So it actually doesn't belong to the people, the Bank of Italy. But I would say the gold there is the patrimony of the Italian people. So I actually would think that's quite interesting that the politicians want to take the gold over from the EC, from the Bank of Italy. And it's interesting because I think recently Mario Draghi, the ECB president, who happens to be Italian, said that the ECB should have power over all the foreign reserve assets of the national central banks and the gold. So I think there is something brewing there between the politicians and the bankers in Italy, which is quite interesting. Just have a little bit of water. Yeah, news for all. Yeah, 100% gold would be good. The thing is, the thing about a gold standard and not having fractional reserve, it has to come from the general public. People have been for the last 100 years or more. they've been, how can I say, used to this inflationary system. This system we have gives a lot of people something for nothing. So it's, but we can all, each other, we can all as individuals have our own gold standard. And that's why, I stick to having precious metals as some kind of savings and insurance. And ideally, I think the world would be a better place if people, if there was sound money and honest money. And that's why I do these videos, trying to wake people up. I mean, 20 years ago, I didn't even uh, think about these things. It wasn't in my conscience, sound money, precious metals. I didn't question it. I think so. People are waking up, so we just have to keep going. Jazz Atwell, best to just get your own gold outside government. Yeah, that's what I was saying, Jazz. Be your own central banker. Yeah, news for all. I do have a little in the bank, to keep my expenses, but I try to keep as little as possible. So that's the other story there. So the Italian story. There's another story I found interesting to talk about to you guys. It's Saudis threaten to ditch petrodollar as nuclear option to block NOPEC bill. So NOPEC, N-O-P-E-C, is a bill in U.S. Congress that has been talked about apparently for the last 19, 20 years. And it's about imposing antitrust law liability to the OPEC countries. But it's never been passed, and that would, the Saudis wouldn't take that. But it looks now that it's trying to. Trump apparently in 2011 said he would be for a NOPEC bill in Congress, but if they pass this bill, that's like shooting yourself in the foot for the petrodollar, because I think the Saudis wouldn't have it, and so that's something to keep an eye on. I think this thing about the NOPEC bill. It's also on Zero Hedge. You can go and look at it there. So I thought that was quite interesting. So let's see if we got any more questions here. Jack, how diverse is your portfolio? Well, as most of my savings is in precious metals, gold and silver, I would say. I do have cryptocurrencies. I do have a small amount in like a pension in mining stocks, but that's about it. So I don't have I don't own general equities. I think, investing as well is about investing in yourself, or your family. So I think that's important as well. I think we're too bogged down in investing in the stock market. Sometimes you need to invest in yourself, like, I've done with myself partly, with my YouTube channel. I had to buy some equipment. That was a bit of an investment, and it is paying off as I get more and more viewers. So that's the way I look at things. It doesn't have to be in the stock market. Yeah, Joe, oil is been creeping up. We're almost up at $70 now. I think Brent is at 70 and WTI is around 67. How to buy Bitcoin in Hawaii? I mean, Bitcoin is something that's done online, so you need to check that. I don't know. You need to Google that. What are your thoughts on Ripple, XRP? Well, a lot of people think it's the bankers' cryptocurrency. I have a little bit, not too much. If it's going to go up, as a speculation, but I don't know much about it. The cryptocurrency I know more about is EOS and Steemit. I've been using Steemit for almost 3 years, and it's paid off quite well. Posting my stuff there, I've earned quite a bit of steam. Right now, the price isn't that high, but yeah. Jazz, do you think the Illuminati are now after Jeremy Corbyn? Seems like, yeah, I think so, Jazz. The Zionists, I would say, he's very, he's pro-Palestinian. He's not anti-Semitic, in my opinion. People say that people who are anti-Zionists are anti-Semitic, but you listen to Orthodox Jews, and they say they're anti-Zionists, and Zionists are not true Jews. So yeah, I think they are against Corbyn. Daniel Glavin, what do you think about real estate right now? Not worth it to buy anything. Well, I'm not a real estate specialist. I've been lucky to buy that we bought our first home, family home, at a very good time in the mid 90s here in the UK. So I've done well from it. But at the moment, interest rates are still quite low. So it's keeping the real estate bubble going. But especially in the UK, we're still really 1% or so, the 10-year yields, maybe a little more now. But so one, yeah, uh, as an investment, I would stay away from it probably, unless you're not very leveraged, unless you don't have to borrow that much. Upper Darby, what do you think about the cryptocurrency call maker? Never heard of that. Sorry, Upper Darby. Simonetta, well, $6,000 for every ounce of gold. Why is it only 1,300? Well, because they control the price through the paper market. COMEX, LBMA, the central banks, but they can't do it forever. Gold Money, boy kid 28. I have an account with Gold Money. Don't use it too much. I prefer Glint, Glint Pay, GLINT Pay. I have that. I have a Glint card. They haven't come out in the US yet. They should be coming out soon, and I'll let you guys know. Saudi Arabia has pulled the petrodollar plug. Not yet, because this NOPEC bill hasn't gone through Congress yet, and even though President Trump, when he was not president in 2011, he said he would be for a NOPEC bill. You never know; he might have changed his mind now. Who knows? But yeah, it would be another step towards de-dollarization of the world. Hi, Brian. Nice to see you here. If you could advise Trump on how to change the monetary system, what would your advice be, Marion? News for all. I guess maybe this is his plan. I guess it would be to pump the biggest bubble out there ever, and maybe that's what he's doing. I don't know if, because right, yeah, you have to bring this. You have to have a crisis. It can't happen when things are fine. So yeah, maybe, yeah, get the Fed to pump it. Maybe he's right. Maybe that's what he's doing. I don't know. You do need a crisis though. But the thing is, once you have a crisis, you have to make sure that the solution is not the banker's solution. So it's not easy. And I guess maybe he wants to do that, but or maybe he's just trying to, get elected again. Who knows? Stacking silver, yeah. Hit the like button. Yeah, 162 watching only. Well, there's 47 thumbs up now. Thanks, everyone. Buy gold and silver if you're not a professional. what kind of debt to be paid off versus stacking? Well, you have to you have to try to get out of debt as much as possible, I would say. But you can still start buying gold and silver even if you do have debt. But I don't think you should buy gold and silver with the hope that you'll be able to pay off your debt when gold and silver goes up. I think that you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't bank on that, because if there is a reset or a collapse or hyperinflation, a lot of times they make sure that your debt, you're not able to clear your debt. Hi, the Watcher. Nice to see you here. Good evening. Pat, I still watch you every day. Do you think anything about the Tartaria Empire? What type of monetarism do they have? Oh yeah, Pat, I watch some of what's his name again? He's just made a few videos about Tartary. I'm not sure what monetary system they had. It was probably some precious metals, uh, but it was the old Mongol Empire as well. I'm not sure. What was is it Robert Sepper who's made videos? It's really interesting, some of the stuff he puts out. So I'll take a few more questions because we're almost up to 30 minutes. So just let's see. Simon Atta, will the Feds listen to Trump and open money printing machine? They could. They could. I mean, they've stopped raising rates, so they did listen to him. Yeah, Paul Flamand, that's always a possibility. Confiscate gold and silver and make it illegal. They could do that to anything. They could take your money from the bank. They could do a bail-in as well, the paper money. Yeah, I think the Fed will hold steady. They said they're going to stop the QE by September. Kirsten. Yeah, the Great Empire of Tartary, Robert Sepper. Yeah, it's very interesting. When will helicopter money come down? Well, I guess that's the MMT, modern monetary theory, which is just QE for the public. It could be soon, because I think the general public is getting angry because only the bankers and politicians benefit from the normal QE. Kirsten, do you think climate change is a hoax? Um, yeah, I think I do. I've made videos about that. If you Google, what was his name again? George. Yeah, search under my channel, climate change, and I've made a few videos. And the people behind the conservationist movement, global warming, are the bankers. Especially one of the what was his name? Lionel, or one of the Rothschilds. He's dead already, but in the 80s, he worked together with Maurice Strong, a Canadian who was part of the UN. So you know, I'm not saying that we should wreck the planet, but I think a lot of it is just it's just an excuse to tax people and to transfer the wealth from the West to East. That's what I think it is. Okay. Yeah, the Watcher, I agree with you, these carbon taxes. And I remember working in the city, and this was back in '07 and '08. They're already starting carbon futures. So yeah, this is a financial move, the climate change. And they're able to convince, the unsuspecting public, people who don't do their homeworks, and they call people like me and you conspiracy theorists, trying to wake them up and saying that the bankers are behind climate change. So there you go. Okay, guys. I'd like to thank everyone for showing up. as I've said, these live streams are now going to be a bit shorter because I think an hour is too long. After we finish and I record it and upload it as a video, most people don't want to listen to something for an hour. So I'd like to thank everyone for showing up. And if there's anyone there who hasn't subscribed yet, make sure that you do subscribe. And I'd like to thank everyone for participating. And I'll talk to you tomorrow as usual. Take care. Bye.